Hotline. Welcome to the Herald Washington Post 1987 Hotline TV show. It's not our show. It's not the Commander show. It's your show. Now I'm going to turn it over to that fantastic, hardest working commander in the whole state of Illinois, Bill Bam. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and I'd like to welcome each and every one of y'all. If in my voice, where you can hear us at, whether you're in Wisconsin or whatever, because I know now that we do travel over YouTube. But this evening I have a friend of mine, and I thought, I work hard. This man, he do it, excuse the expression, but he do a good job. I wanted to say something else, but it's television, and we have to respect the television airways and stuff like that. But this is my partner from Jesse Brown. This is George. George, introduce yourself.
My name is George Aponte. I'm with the Vocational Rehabilitation Counselor for the Jesse Brown, the Department of Veterans Affairs. And my job is to help veterans with resources that are available to them. Find out how to file a claim, employment purposes, anything that has to do with their benefits.
And me and George go back and see, and another thing about him, he's like a wizard to me. I had to give him his kudos because the reason I say that, I ain't trying to make him blush in front of y'all, but the man has sources. And that's a good thing, because it's not that he just have his job, but see, it's just the idea, it's the knowledge that he have, and then the resources, and that's a great thing to deal with when it comes down to veterans. It's a whole outlet, just as Travis and myself is part of CVO, which is Coalition Veterans Organization. And there's 28 members of different other veterans organizations with us. And then George know a lot too. But see, it's not by him knowing, it's where he go and find out other information, whether it's from the city, whether it's from the mayor's office, or from Cook County or something like that. He's as I call him, an outreach man. He's there in case, I have to go to him sometime. If I'm inquisitive about something, this is the man. The man in the middle. But George is someone to know. And if you're ever at Jesse Brown, come see him. If you got a problem, I'll let him finish answering that for you. So,
one of the things that we want you veterans to understand, once you get out the military, especially those of you who went into the military from Illinois. Illinois is a different type of animal because in Illinois you get certain type of benefits that other states don't offer. And so when you come to Jesse Brown and you come to see George, you want to be able to find out from him what's all of the various benefits you got coming. Yeah. And that's dealing with housing, education, the stipend, the Illinois Military Scholarship. All that stuff is at his fingertips. And that's why our female veterans as well, we need you guys to come in and see George so you can learn about your benefits. And folks, I just met George, and from listening to the commander and the praise that the commander put on George, that means George is working for you to vet.
One of the hardest workers there are at Jesse Brown.
And you need to utilize his services.
You are.
So I have an issue, George, and I'm sure I'm not the only vet with this issue. I received a letter from the Department of Health under the military organization that deals with sending out these bills. And their position is, if you don't get this worked out, we will garnish your Social Security. So I guess the way they wrote the law, that once you get a bill from the VA and you don't pay that bill, then the VA can send it over to Social Security. And then they can garnish your wages. And the letter I received said by 15%. And folks, all of this get back to mean testing that came about when Reagan was president. And that's why I keep uttering this madness that we supposed to have the best lobbyists in Washington, D.C., and they let this happen. Something is wrong. Folks, those of you out there, and even if you're a civilian, please get on the phone and call Senator Duckworth, Senator Durbin, and then call your congresspeople and tell them it's a shame that you want to charge veterans a copay for medicine, doctor visit. Because I remember when I took that oath to go into the military, they didn't tell me, now that you're in the military, we got a surprise waiting on you when you get out. You're gonna have to pay copay to go to the VA for your doctor visit, get your medicine. It wasn't like that when I went into the military. Everything was free. And that's where it should be. Because those soldiers that lost their lives for all of us. Folks, when you put your life on the line for this country, that's the least the country can do for the veterans. And folks, I hear it all over the world that we love our veterans. That's what they say in Congress. But folks, when it comes to benefits, they act like they don't love us. I've seen them folks sitting in the hall of Congress vote no on giving us benefits. So George, what are we supposed to do as vets when we get information like this coming from the Treasury Department?
Part of the problem is that Lincoln, back in 1862, said that we need to, the mission statement that he put together when he started the Veterans Administration was that we need to take care of those that were born to fight and took care of us. So there is a couple of different things since Congress has changed quite a bit.
Yes.
It used to be where we had 55 to 70% of our representatives veterans, and nowadays we have roughly about 18%, and the number is going down. So they're starting to shave the benefits that were promised to the veterans. So the first step you need to do is appeal the decisions that they make, number one, by filling out certain types of form and saying, hey, you're taking money from my mouth where I have to feed a family, and that's not enough. So the VA can revisit that and look at it and say, hey, let's forgive that loan. Because they got special insurances that cover those co-payments. The other thing is you need to contact your councilman or congressman, alderman, all the way up, and file a complaint saying, hey, I'm being charged money as a veteran, I don't make enough, and they're trying to garnish my Social Security for this reason and that reason. And they can step in and they can help put a quelch on all this stuff. I personally am retired from the Navy and I got TRICARE. So I have an issue when I go to the VA for my benefits and all of a sudden I have to have a co-payment and they will not accept TRICARE because they say...
Can you explain what TRICARE is?
TRICARE is the military benefit or insurance that all retirees or all people that are in the military on active duty That's how they have their health care. And
But my question then, why should you have to have TRICARE and you're a veteran and you retire and you should still be able to go to VA anywhere?
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
They say that two federal agencies can't pay each other for whatever reasons.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'm covered under the VA health insurance plan, and they still give me a co-payment. Why? Because I make a good living with them, and they figure that all that is taken into account, and therefore we should be able to pay for some of the medicines, such as what they do on the outside to the civilians. When we went in, they told us that we signed our paperwork, and they guaranteed us health care, they guaranteed us benefits, even when we got out. Nobody ever said anything about
Yes.
co-payments or anything.
Yes.
What happened was those people in Washington right now are the ones milking the system, because the VA has the second biggest budget in the United States.
do, yes.
However, they don't look at where that money is going to. And now they're trying to streamline some of the expenses by not providing benefits to the veterans, taking away some of the medical care that they're supposed to be getting,
So free.
and so forth. So it becomes an issue. That's when we need to lobby together and say, hey, write your congressman, write your senators, write your whoever, and tell them, you guys promised me all this. I got it in writing.
And ladies and gentlemen, and that's where the mean test come in at. And you want to know what mean test is? As George was just stating, they go by your income. And depends on how much you make per year. But then you wouldn't have to have a co-pay, and you wouldn't have to pay for medicine, or unless you 60% to 100. But in between, service connected, yes. But see, again, like say, go by the mean test, go by is how much you make. So now, as he was saying, even in the civilian life, when you go to a doctor, something like that, you have copay, then you have a certain amount to pay for your medicine. Well, the VA started that also. In other words, hear me out, that they trying to get some of their money back as well. And also, that's why each year that the government, just as you go pay your income tax or file for your income tax, well, then you have to file just like your mean test. They want to know what you filing, how much you filing for, because it's a certain amount that they allow. Again, the part B with this, you know, George brought up that if you have Social Security, if you're receiving Social Security, and you're also receiving something from the VA, they only allow you to make with both of them. You could receive both of them, don't get me wrong. But see, they only allow you a certain amount from each one, because one of them, both of them cannot be equal at the same time. One has to be higher than the other. You have to let one go or accept the other. Now see, this is what the mean test is dealing with, because see, if you get 100% from the VA, and then you want to collect Social Security, well see, Social Security and vice versa, they're only gonna allow you to collect so much. And so with that, now when it comes down to the VA, they want to know exactly how much you make per year, so they be able to know whether to charge you or not. And then, if they charge you upon the mean test, you have to pay for copay and your medicine and all of that. Okay, so you miss a few payments. Well, see, here's the thing about this that they don't tell you until it's too late. And when I mean it's too late, it'll add up, and you don't think about paying them or going to them and try to work out a payment plan where they're going to wait until the end of that year when you go file for your income tax, and then they're going to get their money. And then you're going to be pissed off and say, what happened? In other words. But they, they would tell you, Uncle Sam took their money.
And let me say this, because as I sit here, folks, and I'm thinking about this whole issue of what 45 did with the 400 million that he held up. That's $400 million of our tax dollars. And when we talk about foreign affairs and foreign aid, and even though they say he don't like foreign aid, but he's dishing it out.
Our money.
Our money. Our money. Folks, if we can give billions of dollars in foreign aid to all of these other countries in the globe, our veterans shouldn't have to come out of their pockets with a damn dime.
It would, put it this way, it would be a lot of changes if it wasn't for the United States government. I wouldn't say we, because if it was up to us as we wouldn't give out anything, because we know where the money would be here at home on structural things, far as dental, far as medical, construction, reconstruction of the roads and stuff like that. It's a lot of things that the money could go for. But see, then too, what the federal government do, how they allocate it out, because of, they say, national defense.
Right.
So we want to send this country a certain amount of money if they meet our criteria. So we could stop the aggressiveness for communist Russia and stuff like that. But see, the idea, as you saying and stating, that, and everybody, even if you weren't in the military, it's a lot of programs that they have shut down, especially for mental health.
Yes.
See, we could use a lot of that money.
Yes.
For road service and everything, and for the education of all, not some.
When I went in and you came out, you got 100% of your education. First of all, in Illinois, we got the military scholarship. I got that. Then you got the stipend every month. I got that. 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, the new veterans don't get 100% of their education paid
No,
for.
and
That's terrible.
And that goes back to what I was saying. Not a lot of the veterans that were in Congress are no longer there. McCain was a staunch advocate of the veterans.
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
And right now, Tammy Ducksworth is the only other one that I know that's fighting for our rights. And going back to what I was saying, that's why my passion is to make sure that I help the veterans.
Yes.
I go way beyond what they require for me to
Yes,
make
you
sure
do.
that they get what they deserve. I've gotten quite a few people into the veteran system. They've gotten their benefits. They've gotten their education. They've gotten jobs.
Yes.
And so, I try to give them my very best. My very best, because, I want somebody to do that for me when I need it.
And he do every day. I see, how they be in line sometimes, George, sometimes I gotta look at poor George. George sometimes, don't even have time to eat. And you have to say, go eat. And he be dragging nothing, but he be tired though. But see the idea, all of this, what I'm saying, he still be putting his foot forward for the veterans,
Yep.
The man be doing his thing. And see, this is what we need. Veterans, you always talking about what you need or something like that. Don't nobody know unless you come out and ask for HELP.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And remember, when veterans get out of the military, they're not. All they do is they say, "Here's a book. Here's your discharge, and there's the door."
Yes.
How many veterans go home and read their book?
Not that many.
They goes on one side, and then the discharge is on another side, and then they go out to work or take care of their family, and that's forgotten. I've had veterans that are in the 50s and 60s come to me and ask me, what kind of benefits am I entitled to? What kind of rewards am I supposed to get because I served in the military? And I have to sit down and go through them. That little book that they give you has a lot of information in there. Now, if you go to the first page of the benefit book nowadays, it has a lot of website. That book becomes about this thick. Okay, and it tells you step by step what you need. So it's important that you guys read. If you don't want to read, come and see somebody like us. We have what they call veteran service officers out there.
Right, which I am one.
That can sit down. The commander here makes sure that every veteran that comes to him has the proper leadership and they have the proper information. And that's something that you guys need to do. Look at this number here. This is your first connection to anything. If not, then come into the VA and we'll talk about, how to go through the process to get you inclinated into the system. It's important, guys.
And the book he's talking about, I have it in, I keep it with me at all times because see, when the veteran asks me about certain things, I know what to do. But see, the book is free. All you have to do, come down to the regional office. It's free. It's free. Anything and everything you need to know is right there at the regional office, or it's within the hospital itself. And what I mean by that, we have a place that everybody could go to, and I call it the table for knowledge, and that's Strike Force.
And it's located on the first floor of the hospital?
On the first floor in the hospital.
Towards the end on the
toward the Damon building. Right at the end of it's at Taylor, but right at the end of the pharmacy. And right next door to that is the
canteen?
The restaurant. But it's that you can learn about anything and everything. Just come ask if for the DD-214, for your old medals that you can't find and things like that. What if you want to file a claim? How do I file a claim? What am I looking for to file a claim? All of that is right there. All of that is right there. And if you come and get this information, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, please, I'm saying it with a capital, P-L-E-A-S-E, do not do it yourself. Come in and let a military group, such as the American Legion, the VFW, or whatever, let them do the paperwork for you, because a lot of people feel that I could do this and everything like that, and you mess up.
Right. These are the experts who have been doing it for a long time, and they understand the lingo. When you don't understand the language that they're looking for, that's why you will be denied. Folks, you have to understand that we have folks like George working at the VA so that you, veteran male, veteran female, you gotta utilize these individuals who have the expertise. And folks, we are very grateful for workers in the VA system like George, who's willing to put it all on the line to make sure you get the benefits that you deserve.
Would you like to take us out, say anything, tell them about anything?
The only thing I can say is we have all the resources available to you, so please come to Jesse Brown. We will definitely give you the schooling that you need, the information that you need, the resources that you want, and any questions that you may have, please bring it to us. That's what we're doing. That's what we're there for.
Folks, when you're having fun, time flies.